I'm not kidding though. I feel something big's gonna happen.
Windfalls. We need windfalls.
Yeah, well, I'm here. It's
There
the
you go.
biggest
That's
thing
true.
that happened to this place.
All right,
You made it.
Count it in.
You count it. You're the counter.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
In a world where writers, directors, producers, and actors are all fighting to get their films made, comes a podcast that gets into it like no other podcast has ever gotten into it before. So, this summer, hang on to your laptops, because this time, there's no rewrite. Starring Mark Ice Roberts, Rod Tuddy Rinks, and on the ones and twos, Justin Wings Nichols. Let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Get Into It.
We're gonna get into it today, Robert.
You know, every time we say that every time. Are we gonna really get into it today?
We do. We get into it before and after, and sometimes during the show.
I feel like this show, this podcast has taken on like a really weird life because because we've been talking about your movie, $10,000 movie, which I didn't think was possible anymore. And you're doing it, and you're almost done with it.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about the executive producers. We've been talking about some of the actors. We've been talking about people in it, and people are getting sort of upset. There's been some people confronting other people, on outside of this podcast, going like, "Hey, man, how come you're telling people about that?" Right?
Yeah. No, you've caused some shit. I've caused some shit. And I've been approached and called, "Hey, what the fuck?" Right.
That's hilarious.
But it's all good. It was all in good fun.
It's all going to end well because the project's done and you're going to cut it. But I want to get to our guest today because he sort of encapsulates what the show's about. Like what this is a show about independent film, about achieving something in a business where you're passionate about, and a lot of people listening just love to hear about how other people get it done against the odds.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about this guy. This guy, I totally contribute to my success at this point in my life. I'll tell you why.
He has contributed to your success.
That too. But he told me he was going to put me in a movie, and a lot of people in LA tell you that, but they never do. Mm-hmm. And he actually did, and he gave me a shot, and I gave it my all, and it boosted my confidence. It put me where I knew I could go, and on a trajectory to do even the $10,000 movie. So I owe him a lot. He really stepped up for me, and I can't thank him enough.
Well, introduce him then.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Barbera, a.k.a. Danny A.
Welcome, Danny.
Hello.
Hey, man, I just want to say I did watch 2 of your movies.
Movies that I directed or acted in?
I think you produced and you acted. I'm not sure. You tell me. I watched Stand Up Guy. You acted.
And I produced.
And did you write it?
No. Mike
and
Young wrote it.
And I saw Davi's Way.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
Thank
you. I want to get into a conversation about how you got started in film, but first, I want to let people know you were an entrepreneur in New York. You grew up in
Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Israel. At age 9, I moved to New York, to Brooklyn, with my parents.
And at a very young age, you became an entrepreneur and you got into clubs, restaurants.
So, I mean, before that, I used to sell sneakers for $3 an hour.
Nice.
Up until age 20, 21. Moved to Miami for a little bit. And by 23, 24, I started getting into the nightlife just as a promoter. I didn't even know what it was about, but I got into it, and then it became a real business.
Yeah.
To me, it was just to have some fun and make a little bit of money.
And you were successful and made plenty of dough and did extremely well, and you weren't connected to the entertainment business in terms of movies and stuff like that at this point.
No, but I met a lot of people in the as a kid, I used to go on auditions and do like a music video or plays in school. I always was active in like the acting thing. But then I stopped at like age 17, 18. I just
went into business. But at what point did you decide, you know what, I'm going to make this movie. I'm going to take a break.
One day I was in Malibu at a friend's house, and I couldn't sleep. And I'm just like sitting there, and this is at the height of my success in nightlife.
I'm sorry, how did you get from New York to Malibu? How'd that happen?
No, it's just a friend of
You're
mine.
just visiting?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay,
visiting
you're
a friend.
visiting.
I'm staying at his house. And the ocean, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I grew up on the ocean as a kid from age 0 to 9. And I was just sitting there and I'm just thinking about my life. And I'm like, man, I want to do something else. You know, like I get on the phone with a friend of mine who I can't say his name. He's in Europe at the time. And I start talking to him and I'm like, man, I want to go and do something else. I want to do a movie. And he's like, go do it. And I was like, yeah, but it's so hard to raise money. And he said, look, go and do it. You do it and I will help you. You have to put yourself out there and I will help you. And that's like, like Tootie said in the introduction, that kind of gave me kind of like encouraging words, right? Because, you hear a guy at that status say to you, don't worry about it. Just go and do it. And you got friends that love you. You just go and try to make this happen and it's going to be fine. Which gave me the indication that, if push comes to shove, he's going to step up and. So, long story short, 6 months later, I'm watching a TV show on the Discovery Channel called Interpol Fight on Drugs. And there's a segment about Interpol, catching all these drug smugglers, one of them being Hasidic Jews. So I look it up on the internet and I find this article called Holy Rollers, a New York Times article, and I bought the rights to it. In the meantime, once I got that, I went and I decided, you know what, I'm going to start by doing a short. So I co-wrote a short, I starred in it. It was such a fun thing to do. I got a bunch of my friends to do it with me, Lucas Haas and Sarah Foster, and we just had fun with it. And then I got the bug. I was like, I got to make a real movie, right? So now I'm trying to get, so the friend on the phone was able to get me through his production company a writer that he paid for. I found the writer. They financed the script.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote Holy Rollers, 2 years. Then we went out to try to get it. I casted Jesse Eisenberg. Now I'm starting to take little roles in movies. One day on this set, one day on this, just to learn, to get to know people, see what it's all about. And I got Jesse Eisenberg to star in it. It took me 5.5 years to raise all the money.
Wow.
$1 million. And, but I did it. And then,
how much did you raise? Like, for instance, how much in the first year of that 5 years, how much money did you put together?
Nothing.
So none. So
it took, I thought I was going to go the traditional way and go with my script to Los Angeles and start taking meetings and being like, hey, this is great. And my first meeting, the guy's like, hey, what, ecstasy, smuggling, that sounds great. But, instead of Hasidic Jews, why don't you, good-looking surfer from Malibu? I'm like, what? The movie's not even about smuggling. It's about faith, and it's about faith against blind faith. Give me back my script, right? He didn't understand, it's not an action movie. This is he didn't really understand what I was trying to do. So I realized early on, I was like, all these people, it's all bullshit.
I just want to get the 5 years straight. So in the fifth year, was it one dude or two guys?
No, so I'm starting to so what we decided to do was we decided to put together a little event and invite all the people we know have a little bit of money. So we put together we brought all the actors that we casted. We put up the posters and we did a whole thing, and we gave them food and drinks, and it was kind of a meet and greet, and everyone's talking. And a bunch of these rich people showed up and they started talking, and we started talking to them. And then one guy stepped up and said, all right, I'll give you $50,000 for, the first $50,000. And we were all like, okay, this is good. It's the first.
And someone else said, I got 50.
And then once
the
the 50 came in, this other guy said, you know what, I'll do this. And then I stepped up and said, you know what, I'm going to put a little bit of my own money in. And then the director's mom said, well, if you're going to put your own money in, I'll put. And together, collectively, we were able to raise half the money. And then that guy on the phone gave the other half.
This is a good story.
Yeah.
Remember to get your people together. You never know which one of them.
Get your people, your artwork.
Get your artwork.
Make sure you got a script ready.
Make sure you got a script ready. Make sure, that you got a lawyer to go close those deals the next day. But that's cool. That's awesome. And Jesse Eisenberg's big. It's kind of cool that you had the cast willing to show up at a thing.
Jesse, when I met Jesse, I I had 2 lines on a movie called The Education of Charlie Banks. I played the arresting officer, and I was on set with him. That's why I met him. And I said to him, hey, man, during lunch, hey, I'm working on this script about this Hasidic Jew smuggling ecstasy. I'd love to send it to you. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. You know, just like 2 actors. I have a really small role. He's the star of the movie. But he was really sweet, and he said, yeah, send it to me. When the script was done, I sent it to him. He called me 2 hours later and was like, where are you? By the way, you have to understand, I don't know him. I just met him on set. And he goes, I want to talk to you, like, right now. I was like, okay, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, I just read your script. I want to talk to you right now. So I tell him, okay, meet me on 23rd and 2nd. There's a diner next to my apartment at the time. And he shows up, and he says, I want to do this movie. This is the best script I've ever read in my life. I've been waiting my whole life for this role.
That's cool.
That's cool.
And I said, okay, sure. You know, then I thought maybe we can make the movie, but no one cared that Jesse's starring in it.
Right.
You know, it's not like you're saying I can get Tom Cruise and then every studio is going to step in and give you money. He was just like a small, independent kind of like, you know, actor who had a couple of movies in, you know, Sundance and stuff like that. But he got, you know, through him, we were able to push it with a lead, you know, that people kind of heard of.
Yeah. Hey, you want to work with Jesse Eisenberg?
We didn't get
Sure.
the money because of him.
No,
we did
of course not.
But we were able to cast Ari Greiner, who was like, oh, I'm a fan of Jesse's, and, you know, people like that. I got Q-Tip as a friend of mine to do it. But right after he did Holy Rollers, he was nominated the next movie for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For
Which
the
helps
Social
a little
Network.
bit. Helps a little bit.
Well, I told the distributor who bought the movie, wait, because I'm hearing he's
Smart.
so great, he might get nominated. Wait till he gets nominated, and then you can go out with it. He's like, I owe money to the bank. I got to put this movie out. So he put the movie out a couple months before the Social Network came out. So we make Holy Rollers. Now, you have to understand, I don't stop doing my club stuff while this is happening. So I get a phone call. I'm playing basketball, and they call me and go, oh, my God, we just got into Sundance. And I went, okay. I don't even
with
know.
Holy Rollers. With Holy Rollers.
Yeah.
Got it.
You have to say, this is my first movie. I did everything. I found the story. I raised the money. I hired everyone. But I'm still not aware of how is it a big deal to get in Sundance. I used to go to Sundance just to party. So I was like, that's great. He's like, oh, my God, it's the biggest, greatest thing that could ever happen to a filmmaker. Oh, my God, congratulations. So now I'm all excited. And we all go to Sundance. And everyone is at Sundance, right? And they're all like, congratulations, this is great. I go,
Harvey's at Sundance.
Harvey's there,
Flipping tables.
and he comes to the premiere.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and loves the movie and gives me the biggest compliment, right? But it was the worst time, 2010. You know, the market just crashed in 2008, so there's not big
No one has
sales,
money. Yeah.
really. But we make a sale, right? And First Independent, Gary Rubin buys the movie. Now, I'm like, wow, I made a movie. It got into Sundance. I sold it. It's getting a theatrical distribution. I'm acting in it. I produced it. This is going to open every door, right? My director wins Breakthrough Director of the Year in the DeVille Film Festival, the Gotham Awards, all these. You know, I'm like, this is great, right? And that was the biggest lesson in my life. I learned, to any filmmaker that's listening to this, this is literally what changed my life. I realized no one cares. People just go, oh, that was a great little movie. Okay. That's it.
Yeah, now what?
No, what? Nothing.
Now what do you got?
It's not like they're going, yo, Dan, listen, I need you to star in this movie for me. Nothing. Silent. And you go, wait a minute, hold on a second. I didn't just make a little movie that didn't, no one saw, and a bunch of my friends showed up and we had a great time. We had a beer after. I made a movie that is written. I was on the cover of USA Today. On the cover of USA Today. Independent Films is like, I was like, what the hell's going on, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. But I learned a big lesson. And the lesson was, you need to make money. Without making money, no one pays attention. Unless you make a groundbreaking movie that, changes the way people, Martin Scorsese, Mean Street. No one has ever seen anything like that. So it was groundbreaking. It was different. It was shot different. It was acted different. But if you're just making, so I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest lesson ever.
Yeah.
And that brings me to where I am today. And today it's more about, it's a different approach.
Well, let me tell you this before you move on. Congratulations. on getting the first one done and getting into Sundance. It is a big deal, and it does make a big difference. And you're in a very unique and small club. Not everyone gets a film into Sundance. It's a very difficult thing to do, and it's definitely based on merit. Your film was good, and it got into Sundance and selected by a very, very great group of people. I say that because I had a film in Sundance as well in '95.
Strangers with Candy?
Strangers with Candy, yeah. But it is a big deal. Luckily when I did Strangers with Candy, I'm mostly a money raiser, which is my favorite thing to do as a producer.
God bless you.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite thing.
But when I did Strangers and we went to Sundance and we had that big, the big deal, and everyone showed up, and you're going to dinner and there's a party for your movie and you sell to Warner Brothers, all very fun. I was thinking about using it to raise money for my next thing, which I did, which is the film I did with Ariel, which was a $4 million movie with Marissa Tomei. But that's what I used it for. And, if you're listening, if you do get into Sundance, start thinking about the different ways to take advantage of that. It's not just moving into you getting hired on your next thing. It could potentially be like, hey, if you want to be part of a Sundance Kid, let's raise some money for my next thing, right? And then, because that's the best thing to do. If you don't take advantage of it at that point, once it comes out and people realize that it's going to sit on the shelf for a while or it doesn't do that well, then the limelight's done. But yeah, congratulations. I mean, that's a huge deal, and not a lot of people do it. When did you start directing?
I started directing by I just couldn't find the right director for this particular movie that I've always wanted to make. And then I started thinking to myself, wow, I'm interviewing all these guys and no one gets it. So I get it. I see it. Can I even think about doing this? It's going to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
But the more I started thinking about it, I was like, you got to where you are in your life by taking risks. If you really are prepared and really set yourself up, you can do this. So I studied and I learned and I read about it a little bit, and I realized I can do it. And I went, I made the First Retake Brooklyn. I directed it, acted in it. And it's crazy. But that's how I got into it, just because I felt like no one else can tell the story the way I see it.
How did you feel directing, writing, acting?
Directing, I love directing. I didn't realize I was going to love it. I love it. It's great. Acting just comes really natural to me.
Are you the same guy when you're acting?
I am.
You are? So when the camera turns off, you're pretty much the same character?
Yeah. I mean, on this particular, we'll get to The Irishman, but on that set, yeah. But what I'm saying is, look, there's two different types of acting. There's what I did in a stand-up guy and what I do in The Irishman. It's two different things. What I did in stand-up guy, I can do, in my sleep.
Right.
Because I didn't really create a character. I just kind of gave myself a little bit of a slang, more of my Brooklyn slang and my body mannerism. But everything else was just me.
Yeah.
Kind of. It wasn't a far stretch. In The Irishman, it's really acting.
Right.
And it's a gun in your face, getting beat up by Robert De Niro, that whole, energy and that's really it takes a lot of effort and time to really figure out how you want to do it, and then also be open to what they're throwing at you, because a lot of it was improvised and out of nowhere, and it's just you just got to react to it.
I heard a story about a scene where De Niro gets you in a headlock.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what happened?
So I get the set right on my first day on The Irishman, and I'm in my trailer and I'm like this. Oh my God, what am I doing? Oh my God! I'm just thinking to myself, this is insane, right? So I don't know, thinking I'm reading my lines. All of a sudden, the knock comes. Right? I'm like, yeah, Danny, they're ready for you. And when you hear that, everything that you've ever done in your life, for me, I mean, some actors, for me, it was the greatest. It's that moment where you go, oh my God. I mean, everything I've done is great. I've worked with some incredible actors. I played Michael Shannon's best friend in The Iceman. I did Holy Roles with Jesse Eisenberg. Peter Sarsberg and I did, an experiment. I've done some great scenes, some great actors, Oscar-nominated actors, everything. But I'm about to go shoot my first day, and Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro is my first scene, right?
Damn.
I'm walking. It's insane, right? I'm walking with the PA, and I'm like looking down. And when I finally put my head up, there's Marty right there with Bob. Hey, Danny, how you doing? What's going on? You know Bob, right? I'm like, hi,
Did
Bob.
you know Bob?
I know Bob, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't want to say I know Bob because I just
Right,
wanted to
of
keep
course.
it professional. He didn't recognize me, which is fine. I've met him a bunch of times. I'm like, hey, Bob, how are you? Nice to see you. And Marty just got into it. He's like, look, this is what's going on. You are Louis. You owe a lot of money to people. You're like a deadbeat. You know, you're that guy in the neighborhood. And Bob, he's Frank. He's got a gun. You don't want to fuck with him. All right, you guys figure it out. And he leaves.
You guys figure it out.
Right. Do some acting, right?
And I'm standing there with Bob, and he's like, well, yeah, okay. All right, let's run it, right? So he didn't know what the name of the character was because it was described as the deadbeat. So we had to remind him, it's Louis. So he's like, I'm going to call, all right, I'm going to get out, I'm going to scream, Louis. So again, that's the first thing that's not in the script, right? I come around the corner. He gets out of the car. Louis, come here. He shows me a gun. He's like, Skinny wants to see you get in the car. So now all of that is happening. As this is happening, on take 2 and 3, he starts, kicks me in one scene. He's like, the fuck in the car. I don't give a fuck about you or your mother. But, it's all. So I'm sitting there going, wow, this is the most incredible thing in the world, right? The greatest actor, in
You're
my
not even
opinion,
feeling any pain
of all time is great, right? We do about 10, 15 takes. Then we do different angles. And we cut for lunch. I'm like, wow, that was great. I see Bobby Cannavale on set at lunch. And I know him. I'm like, wow, that took 5 hours. He's like, oh yeah, it's fun. You run with it. The next one's gonna take longer, right? The next scene is me, Bob, and Bobby Cannavale. Now this is when he goes to get me, and now I owe money to Skinny, who is Bobby Cannavale. Now it's a whole big scene, right? It's like a 5-minute scene where he's like, where's my money? I'm like, I swear to God, I was gonna get you your money and my this and that. And out of nowhere, De Niro punches me in my stomach and grabs me and puts me in a headlock. Where's our money? Where's our fucking money? I'm like, what? I'm sorry. I'll get you your money. Cut. You okay? So I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. After like the 8th take, he keeps going, Danny, you okay? I go, Bob, I waited 40 years to get beat up by you in a movie. Do whatever the hell you want. This is great.
So that went off great. Yeah.
I mean, it all came down to that, right? It was the greatest experience of my life. It really showed me that all the hard work of learning to just get to this point, to be able to actually react to the greatest actor of all time with the greatest director of all time. It just kind of like what Tootie said. It made me feel good about, and gave me the confidence to say, you know what, I'm on the right track. I can do
That's
this.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing experience. And obviously, well, you know a lot of actors through the work that you've done through the years.
Throughout New York and nightlife, I met a lot of, of course.
And I noticed that in your movie, I think in your latest movie, which I saw the trailer to, you use some of the same people that you've used in the past.
Yes, I like doing that.
Yeah, why do you do that?
It's a comfort thing, It's plus, I'm an independent filmmaker from New York. I wish someone put me in a movie. You know what I mean? I would love to get a phone call from someone like, "Hey, buddy, listen,
Just come on down.
I'm doing this thing. Why don't you come down, do a week, on it?" It's a great feeling to be a part of a community. People help each other out. And every time I call, they're appreciative of this, and they work their butt off. So they give me something great. But I would only do it if they're right for the role. I'm not going to cast someone who's not right for the role. In Mobtown, I couldn't think of anyone else to play Vito Genovese but Robert Davi.
Right.
I mean, he's the greatest Vito Genovese of all time.
Looks like he gave you a great performance.
He
too.
gave me an incredible performance. So yeah, I mean, I also, it's a comfort thing. It becomes kind of like a family. I like to use everyone always because even though we're being very creative and we're making different kind of movies, we're all on the same page and we kind of like enjoy each other's.
Danny gave me the first night I got there because I was on the fence about going. I was like, should I do it? Should I do it? It's a big step.
You're on the fence about taking
He
a job
cast-
where you're acting in a movie.
I know, but I was nervous because everything I had done before that had been Good Life, which is something I made and all this stuff. but it wasn't big. Like, this was the first real set that I ever was on. So the first day I get out there, Danny invites me to dinner, and he just was the coolest guy. He told me, I want you to see what it's like. And if you like it, then go through with it. If you want to go home and be with your kids, then go home and be with your kids. But you at least have got to this point. You've tried. Because I'd read an article about Danny. I'm going to rewind a bit.
Yeah.
In the Hollywood Reporter about when did Stand Up Guy come out?
3 or 4
years ago.
3 years ago.
And it was so inspiring because it was about Danny. It was about a club promoter who got into acting, wanted to do it, and just went and did it. Like, they didn't make up any excuses. And then I saw a series called The Ropes that was based on Vin Diesel's life as a bouncer, and he was in it, and I recognized him. And so, but there was no excuses in this story. It was like, he came from Israel as a kid, got into clubs, made money, said, okay, now I'm going to start doing this, and nothing held him back, right? So here at Extra one day, we were going to have him and Bob Saget on to talk about a stand-up guy, but mostly Bob Saget to talk about Fuller House. I was so excited to see this guy because I just read the article, and he was an inspiration of, like, to all the filmmakers out there, people who want to do it. He just said, screw it, I'm going to go and do it. And he did. And so cut to New York, sitting there with him at this restaurant, and he said he comes sit next to me. So we're sitting there talking. He says, look, man, you're either going to love it, which is great, and you're going to want to do it, or you're going to go home and be with your kids, and that's fine too. But at least you're giving it a shot.
I said to you, I said, you've wanted this your whole life.
Yeah.
You have the wife and kids at home. You already know that. Try this. If you like it, then it becomes something that you want to pursue because you already know what the other life is like. And if you don't like it, and you said, hey, I gave it a shot. I had a great time. This is something I can show my kids one day. And you move on with your life.
Yeah.
It's what I did. If I made my first movie and the experience was like, okay, that was pretty cool, whatever. Now I want to, ride a bicycle around the country. It all comes down. At the end of the day, honestly, I don't see any movies. I don't care if it's a $300 million movie or $10,000 movie. When you get to set, if you're not loving being on set, you don't love the energy that you get, then don't do it. It doesn't make any sense because it's hard. It's challenging. Not a lot of people get to succeed. Not a lot of people get to see your movies. Yeah. But you do it for the right reasons, and hopefully you will get acknowledged. And it can work out. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And I got to say this, and I said it before, but I'll say it on your show. Tootie was great.
Thank you, brother.
Can't wait.
He was so natural. I said to him, I said, Tootie, I'm going to let you improvise and just go with the flow because he did a scene with me. Yeah. And I was like, let's just play with it. And just because I had to get him a speaking role, which changed the whole format. You got to speak to the, you know how it is as a producer. Yeah. You got to speak to the line producer and to the producer. They got to talk to SAG. It becomes a whole thing.
Taft-Hartley.
He Taft-Hartley.
I tapped him. But I said, I really like Tootie, and I'll do it for him. So I did it, right? So now it's this big opportunity. And I still didn't know if he was just going to go, hey, but he was so natural. He flowed with it. He said, he gave some great lines, great, face impressions. Oh, I mean, he did everything right. And afterwards, I was like, yo, buddy, you were fucking great.
You got talent.
You really were.
Thank
you were great.
Brother. I appreciate it.
And it comes off great in the movie.
Yeah. It did. The movie,
and by the way, I give him 35 seconds of FaceTime just on his face.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Nominated.
Yeah.
Yes, 35. By the way, some people get 3 seconds of, I'm talking about
3 or 4,
just on his face for 35 seconds straight while he's looking for Anastasia. He goes to kill Anastasia.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was amazing. Like I said, it gave me the confidence in, like, Danny pulling me aside, not just at dinner. And then when I went to improvise the scene, he told me all that. And I was like, Danny, I don't know. He's like, listen, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to Taft-Hartley you. Somebody did it for me. I'm not going to say names.
You can only do that twice. You can only do that twice in a movie as a producer. You can't be Taft-Hartling people all over the place.
Two in a movie.
It gets very dangerous to do that.
Well, Mark Wahlberg did it for me. Yeah. I was having lunch with him at Cafe Med, which now he owns as Wahlburgers, and he was just a good buddy of mine. And I said,
on Sunset Plaza, is that where?
Right by the
okay,
Plaza.
That's a good place.
I said, hey man, I think I'm going to get back into acting. He's like, what, you used to act? I was like, yeah, as a kid. I'm going to get into it. He's like, I'm shooting a pilot for HBO. Let me call Doug. And the next thing I know, I'm on set. And he's like, and Doug's like, I just say these 3 lines and we'll get you in. And he gets, I got my SAG card. I'll never forget it.
You gotta have
and so everyone has to give everyone.
Yeah,
I believe in that, and I think, especially independent filmmakers, we all got to look out for each other. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy world. It's like
things are changing. I mean, that's awesome. By the way, congratulations. Getting your SAG card's not easy, not an easy thing, right?
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
They're always talking about the catch-22 in this business, and I guess you just need good friends.
Yeah.
Look, doing independent film isn't always an easy thing. In fact, it's hard most of the time. You go in with an expectation of doing a certain movie a certain way. Along the way, everything changes on you, and you end up with whatever product you do.
I honestly think you have to do something that's different, right?
Yeah.
This movie, Mobtown, that we made, that Tootie's in, is about a subject that there's never been a movie about.
Which is crazy because it's such a huge thing.
Can you say what it's about?
It's the Appalachian meeting that took place in 1957, upstate New York, in a little town called Appalachian. 100 of the biggest mobsters in the world met in one particular home. J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, would not acknowledge organized crime. His whole thing was he was pushing towards, communism and all that stuff because he was hiding the fact that there's so much corruption going on in the country. And he couldn't, after that meeting, no longer not acknowledge it. He had to come out and publicly admit that there is organized crime. So it really changed the face of the way the FBI dealt with organized crime. And, the RICO Act started because of it. And that was the way how they got everyone in the 80s. Giuliani used the RICO Act to get, it started with Gotti and everyone else. So it's a very important movie. Obviously, in Analyze This, the first 3 minutes of the movie is all about the Appalachian meetings. Like, we went upstate, blah, blah, blah. So, but people thought I was crazy. They're like, wait, you're going to make a period piece, 1957, for how much? It's impossible. And there's nothing impossible.
It looks amazing, by the way.
No,
was it difficult to do a period piece?
Yes, but here's what, I'll tell you what I did. And this is a good lesson. I interviewed a bunch of set designers and some really experienced ones, and they all were like, well, Danny, it's very difficult, 57, I got to do it. And then I met this one kid who's never done a movie before, and he said, I can do it. And I go, well, what makes you think you can do it? Because I've never wanted something more than I want this. If I have to do it, I'll do it. If I have to build it myself, I will build your sets myself. And I said, you're hired.
Right.
Because that's who I am. I don't like the people like, well, technically, we can't really get into it. I don't like that. I like, look, here's the deal. We have to make it work. How do we do it? Now we have to get creative. You have to understand. And on my next movie that I'm about to go shoot in New York, that Tootie's in again.
All right.
I'm giving him another role. But on this movie, my line producers are driving me nuts. You can't use 4 cameras. We don't have the money to use 4 cameras for this 2 days in West 4th Street. So I said, okay. I went back and sat with my DP, and I started thinking, how do we get what we want without using 4 cameras and 4 operators? Because it's going to cost us like $60,000. And then I thought about it. I'm going to mount little cameras on the backboard, and I'm just going to use that for cutting purposes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a drone that day who's going to fly around and is going to, and what I even like created in my head how I'm going to cut the basketball sequences where I saved myself $60,000 because the studios would just put a camera here, and they bring operators and extras. But you can do it. If it all comes how hard you're willing to work and how much you're willing to sacrifice yourself. And buddy, when I went to go direct my first movie, I had every shot as studio on set. Everything is so detailed. By the time I get the set, it's literally just moving like this because I knew that I only have 2-3 takes and a small movie, and then I have to move because the worst thing you want to do is not be able to make your day because then a scene is not done and then you can't cut it right. So we 2 months of pre-production in the office every day, me and the DP. All right, let's shoot it this way. You know what? It saves us more time if you do the dolly here. And I want to get at least one wide so I can get, cut into. You just
Just
And then when you get there, it's kind of like a puzzle. You just kind of, because you just let the actor, you go, all right, Tootie, and action, go. And and everything just kind of like falls into place.
Did anything happen on the fly? Was there anything where you're like, oh, you know what, let me push in on this a little bit?
So we shot the barbershop scene. They built a barbershop inside the studio, right? And so we shot the scene, and we were supposed to go into town to shoot the car scene, and we were running out of time. So Danny said, no, we're going to shoot it right here. So we wheeled in these brick walls in the parking lot. We pulled up the cars, and the extras walked by, and you would have thought we were in like downtown Manhattan.
Oh my God.
And it was just a close up on me and my brother in this old car with people walking by and a brick wall behind us. And then it cuts to feet, but it was like that.
It's called a cheat.
Yeah. And it worked.
I had to think outside the box. I was like, we can't go to the next location. We got to shoot this here on the studio lot. And I said, bring out bricks, put him in front and back of the car.
Yeah.
Right?
Brilliant.
Have our extras just walk back and forth as if they're on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just going to go in close on them. And then I'm going to cut to, feet walking, which is, I shot in a different thing, and back to them and back to the feet. So you would think that it's, it's all, and it worked out.
It worked out perfect.
So you have, so Danny, you have relationships with actors that you formed friendships with. You have relationships to money through the work that you've done, and through Sundance and the other work you did. You've created your relationships with distributors, right? Well,
the distributors thing is every time you make a movie, you just don't know who you're going to sell it to.
So you go true indie, you go make the movie, and then you figure out who's.
I don't want to sell it and then hear that I could have gotten $2 million. I would kill myself. So I take the risk. But if you want to talk about how I actually get and make the movie, I can explain to you, because I'm only taking a 35% equity risk on every movie.
You personally?
No, my production.
Your production company's only.
We leverage the whole thing.
So you can guarantee someone 65% back on their dough, or 65% of the budget back.
Yes,
guaranteed.
Yes.
How do you do that?
First of all, I shoot in a tax incentive states. Upstate New York gives 40% right now. All our independent filmmakers, and it's great. And they have great studios out there and a great crew, a lot of great people there. Newburgh. So I only shoot in tax incentives.
You spend $1 million there in upstate New York, you get $400,000
below the line.
So you probably like $250, something like that.
$300, because what you spend on talent is it's not considered, because you're not spending it in their town.
Right.
So you get 40% back, and then by the way, sometimes I even sell. I think I'm going to sell this time my tax incentive. At 85, 89 cents on the dollar, and they write you a check within a couple months instead of waiting 18 months. So I tell my investor, look, you wait 18 months and we get back $320,000, or we can just pick up $290 now. We can roll it out to the next movie. We don't have to go into pocket. And most of the time it's like, let's do it. So I sell that. Then before I cast, I speak to my foreign sales guy who I love, Bleiberg Entertainment. Danny Dimberg and Edward Bleiberg and Nick, and I say, look, guys, this is the movie. It's a basketball drama, 90s. I'm gonna go and make this. Who makes sense? And they come back with numbers. They're like, David Arquette's great. We can get so and so on him. Tootie's amazing. We can get so and so. There's actually like a list of figuring out what you get. So I kind of cast and get an idea from them within 10% of what they think once I'm cast, and they go, I can get you 800,000.
Do you pre-sell, or do you just do? They wait till you're
sometimes I've never really pre-sold before I made the movie, but I pre-sold before the movie was finished,
right?
To be seen,
so they could start selling.
They could start. So if Cannes is coming up, they'll go to the marketplace and start selling it on the poster.
And show a trailer and a poster. Got it. So I just want to be very clear about what you're saying, because this is really actually great. This is really, we haven't covered this at all in all the episodes. So what Danny's saying is that he's got his movie. He takes his I'm going to use $1 million as an example. It could be 10 million, it could be whatever. But $1 million, you go to an incentive state, you can get anywhere from 20 to 40%. So if you're spending $1 million and below the line, you get about $300,000 back, which means that can go back to your investor. So if you put in $1 million, he gets $300,000 back just for you doing it. I mean, some investors will say put it in the movie, then you make it for 1.3, but not everyone does. It's a really good incentive to give back. Now, the other thing is if you have a distributor that you can work with, that you like, that you trust, that's a really good thing to do. Find out if the actor you've got in your movie is going to sell in France, sell in Italy, sell wherever,
or
Latin
sells.
America, or who sells, or who they can sell. I'm sorry, who they can sell. So if they can sell 2 of your actors and their leads, and they can get you another 30%. Now that's 60%. This is really smart. 60% of the money that your investor just put in, he's almost guaranteed back. And then you guys are gambling with the rest of it. If you make
not
a great
really,
movie,
because you're going to get a domestic deal.
Somewhere.
I mean, it's somewhere. Someone's going to pick it up. And, you know, any little movie will go for 25 grand. But
you're making it sound too easy.
The MG, it's not easy. But
you're making it sound super easy, man.
You make a pretty good movie, you'll get 100,000 MG, right?
I just got excited. I want to go make another movie right now. It's a minimum guarantee.
Okay.
Down payment, like you did your.
Well, it's a minimum guarantee. I mean,
you did get excited right now.
I am a little excited because
this formula.
But this
works.
goes
that
back,
formula is very exciting.
But this goes back to what I said about Holy Rolls and how I learned a big lesson. I said to myself, "Wow, you do all this and no one is excited. You know what people are excited about? Is you make the money.
Yeah,
and you get to pay the actors, and the actors are like, wow." You just paid me 100 grand. I'm gonna go do another movie with you. You know, people get excited about it, and that changes perspective. People go, it's so hard to make money in independent films. It's almost impossible.
Not the way you're talking about it. You can get yourself a nice distributor. Be conscious about the cast that you're putting in. I'm not talking about the whole thing. I'm talking about 1 or 2 characters that mean something, that are in 50+% of the movie. Then you go to your foreign distributor and you figure out how to do that. Now, all of this makes a lot more sense if you've got someone who's willing to put up the money. But I'm telling you, the conversation is powerful when you can say, look, you're going to put up $2 million. I'm going to make sure you get back 60. At the very least, we'll figure out the rest together and let's go to the highest bidder. Let's really gamble. If you're not a gambler, if your investor's not a gambler, then it's going to be complicated. Then you're going to have someone waiting.
Don't invest in movies. If
if you're not going to,
it's a vanity investment. You're not going to make money in the movie business unless you're dealing with the biggest, movie stars in the world.
Unless you kill it like Mobtown, is that what it's called?
Yeah. I mean, unless you kill it like Mobtown.
Right.
Look, every once in a while, something's going to jump at you and it's going to do great. But the reality is that most of them just do okay, maybe break even, maybe lose a little bit of money. But you own it. Another big part of my pitch to investors is that, it's tax incentive. We only use 35% of equity. Plus, at the end of the day, we own the movie. 10 years later, it's our movie. And in the library, you can make money on it every day.
Right.
I own 9 movies outright, me and my partners in the production company. We're getting all the rights back. Holy Rolls will be back this year. It'll be our first one back.
Right.
But
and
then
what you mean, just to be clear, what you mean is you license those movies to be distributed, and they're usually 10-year, 15-year deals, and now they're coming back, and they're going to be owned 100% by you.
So now it's mine, right? Then you hire a young lady to sit on the phone, and she starts selling your movie around the world. Some guy in Germany is opening a new TV station. He needs content. $3,000 you can have. You send him a link, $3,000 a year. Then, start selling that all around the world. That library is worth a lot of money.
If you own your own movies, your library could be like 401k, man. In 20 years, they could still be selling. You could still be making money off of the films you made. So that's another good pitch for the people getting involved with it. You are doing what everyone dreams about doing, which is following your dreams, making movies, working with your friends, getting people their money back, which is important.
Yeah. I try.
Yeah. Well, I think
that part I'm trying.
We all
as hard
do.
as I can.
We all do. But the amount of effort it takes to make an independent film, you're not making what you deserve. You're not making what the amount of time you're putting into it.
So that brings us to the next subject: is can you make a living from it?
Can you?
Not really. You make an okay. I mean, until you get a big break. You're just, an independent filmmaker who's living a nice, fun life, doing what you love.
The windfall.
Like I said in the podcast before, if I could just provide for my family and do this, I'm happy. That's all that I want to do. You know, write, act, produce, direct, maybe. If I could just provide, that's it. That's all I need. And I don't need a lot. I'm surviving on not very much already. So just a little bit more.
Right up until you get there, and then you'll be bitching like the rest of them.
No. No.
Yeah, you will. You'll be like, I've been doing this for a while, just making ends meet.
No, because I love it. It's like, like I love, even the other day when I was doing the movie, Dave was there. I did wardrobe. I did props. I did, talent wrangling. I did everything. Coordinating.
That's another thing I was thinking about.
Like Weiser laughed at the post that I had with me and Lilo where I'm looking, and he said something like, the look on your face is because you're worrying about catering. You got to buy these guys lunch.
It's true.
And I was like, well, you know what? You're probably right. I was a little.
When I saw the picture of Lilo, I was very impressed with your ability to put the right clothes on a character.
I think that comes from writing, though, because when I was writing that character, I knew that guy. Like, that guy, I mean, I know guys like
that. That's
right?
vision, though. You got to make that deal, Danny. When you act in a movie, you keep your wardrobe.
By the way, yeah, I could have. Listen, it's a crazy world that going and making these films, but I love it, and I'm about to go make another one, and it's a distraction from everything else because you're working 16, 17 hours every day.
It's crazy,
and you literally are so tired that you get to your room and you pass out and you wake up and it's all over again. And when you're in it, you're like, I can't believe I have 21 more days.
I know, right?
But when it's over, you miss it so much. I can't explain it.
They call that the post-production blues, by the way. Once you leave a set and you go into post-production, you're in the blues. You don't get out of bed for 3 days.
Let me tell you something too about Danny. We were shooting, and it was summertime in upstate, and we were shooting at this old farmhouse, and there was tons of bugs, and it was a long day. And Danny would say, because he was directing, he was acting, and he was telling me, like, this is the worst thing I'm never going to do this again. I was like, dude, you're doing an amazing job. Because he would literally go from behind the camera, doing it to like jumping in front of it. Like, and he was so cool. He wasn't like a hard ass. Like, no, let's push through. Come on, don't be a dick.
Not like Davi.
Oh, God.
And that's what he was telling me. This is the hardest thing. I sat next to him. We were talking. He was like, I'll never do this again.
It's very hard.
Cut to he's doing it again. And the next one's about a basketball player, and his passion is basketball.
Yeah, it's my two favorite things, basketball and movies. So
the question is, are you going to play the lead in this and direct it?
No.
What are you doing? Are you just directing?
Yeah, I'm probably going to play a small role of Peter Vesey in it. No, I mean, it's a 26-year-old kid.
Yeah.
An Irish kid from Brooklyn. I'm a 45-year-old man with a tan. I can't go and play him.
Well, we're excited to see what you do next.
Thank you.
I think the films that you've done are awesome. You have great people in them. They're very, very fun and interesting and satisfying. One takeaway I want to leave is when you're thinking about doing independent film, you have this idea that it may not happen. You may not be able to do it. It's not going to work, whatever it is. Inevitably, you end up at Sundance with a movie you did, and someone buys it, and things happen. I think one of the best pieces of advice I got was prepare for success. If you're doing a movie, expect it to be sold. Because when you're at Sundance, you should really be talking about what you're doing next. And like a good album and a good song, people are going to expect what you just did, or at least somewhere around it. So don't go in with a drama and then start pitching a comedy to somebody who just saw your movie, right? If you have heat, stay with the heat, stay with what you got, pitch something in the area. And, later on you can get more creative, do something different. But I definitely think people should prepare for success. This business has no conscience. It doesn't matter to it. If you're thinking I'm not going to do well, you do a good movie, you get ready to set up your future and keep making deals. I was very lucky. I came out of Sundance. I made 2 movies out of Sundance with investors that wanted a piece of that Sundance feel.
Right.
And I took advantage of it. I want to thank Danny. Danny A., thank you for being here.
You are very welcome, sir. It was my pleasure. Tootie Cole, I'm here.
Thank you,
So
buddy.
nice. You guys
Thank
are good
you.
buddies. Obviously, you guys are good friends, and you're here because of Tootie, so we appreciate that. And we look forward to what you're both doing, and we look forward to the film that you're going to be in.
Yeah, Mob Town.
Yeah.
Larry
Check
Gallo.
that out.
December 13th.
Oh, wow.
December
December
13th. Friday 13th comes out.
Well, congratulations.
The
Good
Bond
luck.
Films. Hey.
Well, that's a good person to be in business with. So congratulations. Thank you for being on Let's Get Into It, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right.
All right.
I tried to stay away from all the stuff you talked about with Mario because
On
you got
LTM?
into really